What's up, guys? So for most of my life, I was horribly addicted to video games. The particular kind that I loved most were probably the competitive, like hardcore shooters. Talking about like, Counter-Strike, COD, PUBG, and then probably the biggest one within the last, several years before I really quit was Overwatch. And so for those of you who know, Overwatch 2 was recently released. So last weekend, what I decided to do was I'm gonna download the game. I'm gonna see how my brain responds to it after basically being off all games for such a long time now. And I played for several hours this weekend, and then on Sunday night, I uninstalled it. Why? Well, I've certainly had some fun at different points, but what I realized was that like my neurological taste buds had readjusted. So to explain what I mean by that, I'll use, example with my real taste buds. Like if you've ever gone an extended period of time without eating like any junk food. So for me, most Lents, I'm a Catholic, so in Lent, you're supposed to give stuff up. And I would give up sweets very often. And in doing that, by the end of the Lent, I was over sweets. I didn't really, I wasn't like in the mood to get like, those baked goods nearly as much. And when I would try them, I would try something that previously I would crave, especially some like highly processed thing. It would just taste kind of weird. It would taste almost chemically, or it'd leave a strange aftertaste in my mouth that prior to going through that period of abstinence, I couldn't even taste. A similar sort of thing happened with Overwatch. It was like, yeah, okay, I can, it's hitting certain parts of my brain that feels good, but what's all this other stuff? Oh, this doesn't feel as good. This isn't as compelling, right? Like I was able to see it as, oh, this is a set of skills and chores. That's what a video game is. And I could see, okay, if I get better at these skills and these chores, well, then I could be better at the game. And that's what actually used to light me up. It's like, oh, I can climb the leaderboard and all that kind of stuff. But I'm realizing it's like, well, then what? What do I get out of that? I'm sure there's a place for recreational gaming in life. I know there is, especially for younger guys and even for older guys. If you got, your life relatively on point and it's not detracting from you. Okay. But for me, I was someone who would like who want to know life, these sorts of things, just go all in and just make this what I spend my time doing. And so me going back to it, it was an interesting experiment because I was like, oh, wow, I don't really want to do this. It's not as enjoyable as I thought it was going to be. And this brings us to the point here, which is one of the greatest human superpowers is our adaptability. And what we can do is we can literally reprogram our brain to be motivated by different things. All it takes is a relatively short period of discipline, right? With a relatively short period of discipline, you can reprogram your taste buds. And then guess what? Eating healthy is really pretty easy, okay? Same thing with video games. Same thing with porn. If you do it right, if you know how to reprogram your brain, you can change what your brain craves, is attracted to, and repulsed by. And think about this. Like imagine if you could train your brain to be attracted to the things that really serve you and be repelled by the things that do not. That's really what the meta game of life is. It's training your reward system to point you in the right direction, right? To just train you to want to do the things that actually have great payoffs and to not want to do the things that don't. Right? And there's probably a limit to how far you can take this, right? To where you're actually only going to get dopamine from things that are good for you, and then every bad thing releases cortisol. It probably doesn't get like that. There's always going to probably have to be some level of discipline. Even the saints get tempted, as it were. At least while we are in corporeal form and our biological buttons are so easily exposed and manipulated to people who know what they are doing. And so what we got to do then is we just have to be willing to play that game, right? We have to be willing to engage in this process of taking control of our motivational systems, because you have to in this modern world, because if you don't, someone else will take control of that for you. And that's what the dopamine industrial complex is. They know that most people, they have completely zero neurological security. There's no guards posted on the reward circuitry for most people. And so because of that, they say, hey, well, I can come in and I can, dangle this thing in front of you, and then I can program you to do what I want you to do. Particularly give me all of your resources and your votes at election time. right? This is what the modern man is. This is what it means to be trapped in the matrix. It means that your reward system has been hijacked and that it's plugging you in to a perception of reality that is only one way that things can be looked at, only one way in which things can be lived, right? The 9 to 5, grind at a job you hate, come home and obliterate your mind with escapism, all right? That doesn't need to be your life. In fact, I would argue that this is the worst version of your life. Nah, probably not the worst. There's way worse versions, but that's definitely not one of the best, all right? You could actually be living on fire. You could actually be living a life that you truly love. You just have to go through this process of reconfiguring your comfort zone, reconfiguring your desires. So this is a little tricky. A lot of people struggle with this. This is why I built the Self-Mastery Club. I built it because there are so many guys out there who want to master this metagame, who want to learn how to control what they are attracted and repelled by. And if you can do this, then you can write your own destiny. There is no shortage of opportunity. There is no shortage of information. There is only a shortage of proper action. And that all comes down to how's your brain programmed? What thoughts are you thinking? What feelings are you feeling? If you can get those in order, then you can get your life in order. So if you're interested in that kind of stuff, check out the Self-Mastery Club in the description. Ooh yeah, I'll see you on the next one.